Hi guys, Eric Patty here at Pickdawgz.com for your overnight report. I want to talk about a loser that Costi had on one of his groups on Monday. He had the Detroit Pistons, and I know that that's going to be the game you're dissecting, but this is what I wanted to talk about. He has a lot of guys on his subscriber channel, and I remember that when he released this, he released it because his groups were releasing the Pistons, and he obviously lost. No shame in it. You can't win every game. But then some gambler called a client after they got the release on the Telegram channel, and they're like, the wise guys are on the Pistons. All the sharp money's on the Pistons. This is going to be an easy winner. And I'm thinking, and then Costi's like rolling his eyes, like, oh, here we go again with the sharp money and the wise guys. And
Well, yeah. I mean, first of all, there's no such thing as this universal opinion. Like, there's lots of sharps. Obviously, I'm a sharp. Mike is a sharp. Etc. We don't always agree on the games. Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own way of doing things. You can't say the sharps are on because there's hundreds of sharps and they could be split 50-50 on the game. I mean, it's. And then the other thing, I know this is really getting into the weeds, but
no,
you
no,
can't
no.
say that, you can't say the Sharps are on Detroit. I forget what the line was in the game, but you'd have to say the Sharps were on Detroit at -9.5, for example. Because if the line is now 11, maybe the Sharps aren't on Detroit at -11, and
Right.
maybe they are. You just don't know. So anyway, that's just my commentary on when people try to lump everyone in as one group, without individuality.
Well, we'll do a little. So, with that being said, normally we wait till the end of the video, but so the reason why we brought that up is because I know we're going to be talking about the Detroit game, but I didn't know what side you were on. I just know they were laying 9, and then they won 99-98, even though the sharp money was on them. And then you told me that we were going to have a complimentary selection on the game, but you didn't tell me what side. So let's break that down, and then we'll continue.
Yeah, so Detroit's off that 1 point win. Milwaukee is off a really embarrassing loss, though. Milwaukee was favored by 10 points against arguably the worst, or if not the worst, the second worst team in the league, the Washington Wizards. Uh, I think Doc Rivers is going to light a fire under his men after that embarrassing loss. They're rested, which is important when you're coming off that big upset loss. That upset loss was on the road. I like Milwaukee plus the 3.5. You'll see it 2.5 at DraftKings, as high as 3.5 at Bet365 and BetMGM. Falls into a system of mine that plays on certain teams to bounce back from upset losses. That system's 104 and 63 ATS since 2003. Yeah, but we'll take Milwaukee plus the points over Detroit.
And right now, I'm looking at the overnight number on the Don Best screen, +3.
It ranges from 2.5 to 3.5. Call it 3.
Call it 3. Milwaukee +3 is your complimentary selection. Um, Now let's get back to it. First of all, let's talk about line moves and get into this. We know guys like Brett watch these videos, and Brad and all of our clients. And obviously, look, let's not be coy about it. Everybody who knows. I mean, this is no secret. Your lines are moving, man. They're moving like fucking hotcakes. Um, and you said to me a long time ago, I want to be under the radar. I want to be the guy nobody knows about. I don't want to be the guy that's being interviewed on ESPN or CNN, and you have mutual friend. We're not going to name one of the other guys that has the database. He became featured, and then the second somebody would hit his game, boom, the line would move. And we joked because you knew my partner Duke before he passed, way back, and I said when we first spoke, when you put the two and two together with Mitch, and you said, "Is that the Eric with Duke in Baltimore?" And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Give me a cell." And I called you, and I was like, "Al, you're famous," and you were like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, "Al, you're famous. Everybody knows who you are," and you're like, "No, I'm not." And how's it feel to actually be famous
No,
now?
it's. I wouldn't say that. I don't know. I don't feel famous, but
I feel
but
famous
what's
just because I
happened
know
but
you.
what's happened over the last 2 years is, and again, this will get into the weeds a little bit. You can have hundreds of clients and your lines may not move, or you can have 50 clients and your lines can move. And And the reason I say that is it depends on so many things. It depends on who your clients are and where they're playing, right? If they're playing at the Shark Books, if they're playing at Bookmaker, if they're playing at Chris, if they're playing, Bet Online, if they're betting lots of money. So a lot of it depends on who your clients are.
Right.
And what's happened over the last couple of years is I must have attracted a lot of clients who are putting lots of money on the games and putting it at those shops. And what's happened, we've noticed it since last season, the lines are moving fast,
Right.
which sucks.
So
Um,
the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in the past, when you were less famous, you would
I
say,
wasn't less famous. I just had a different component of clients, I would say.
right. So when the clients text me in the old days, and I'm just curious if the answer has changed. You said, look, it's 2 to 3% of the games. Tell them to play the game anyway. Um, so is that still the same in the present state of affairs as we are now? Um, they're not actually asking me because they've been told that from me so many times. And even look, to be honest with you, there's other groups that move again. Like the Cincinnati game was a
Well, the
perfect
Cincinnati
example.
game wasn't. Yeah, like we moved at a
Like,
point, and then other people moved
and
it.
then look,
Like
I'm not gonna
cool.
like. I'll just be honest. Micah hit it. I sent you the screenshot. Micah hit it at 20 and a half, and the thing went to what? You text me right back. You said it's
24 and a
25.
half. 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
Baba Miller was upgraded at 12:30 p.m. In the afternoon to be probable. That was part of it as well. Um, so yeah, I mean, like if the game just moves a point, sure, play it. But I think a lot of this you have to use your judgment. You look at the added games, right? Those are the
Right.
ones that are really ridiculous. Um, so I'm looking. What was today's game? The added game. See how much it moved. Trying to find it. I don't like.
So I'm gonna
Oh,
I'm gonna actually I want to read.
oh, hold on. It was Nickel State. The game hasn't even started yet. But the line. What was our line on Nickel State?
Man, you're catching me off guard. The line that when you released it was
20 and a half.
okay.
So right now it's 18 and a half. So, it moved 2 points, but we've had added board games that we've had move even more than two. Um,
So
you know,
so not to
so
interrupt you,
yeah.
because we were having a conversation with our good friend Brett, and I told him I'll send him the video after we drop it. He just sent me a text. He said, "I still think that Al would agree that I'm better off not paying extra juice to get his number. I'm assuming and sure he would probably agree."
100%.
Okay. So don't buy to the number that we release it at.
No,
Right. Don't
no.
don't buy to
Don't
the
buy anything. Don't, you know, don't pay 10 cents for half a point. It's the best way to say
exactly. Exactly. So yeah, like I said, this comes with the territory. You're not the only one. There's other guys. We're not going to mention them on here. I am not a believer of taking the opposite side of a line move. I think that's just crazy because as you've said in the past, and you can say it here again, your position on CLV is it's bullshit, it's artificial, and
What's artificial?
you need to pick
For
more
example,
winners and losers.
yeah, I mean, like using the Nickel State game as an example, their line goes from 20 and a half when we put it out in the morning. It's now 18 and a half as the game is tipped off. They're playing Creighton. Full disclosure, there's 12 minutes left in the first half. Creighton's up by 3. Um, the 2 points, it moved because of us. So it's artificial. When Billy Walters hits a game, it moves because of him. Of course he has closing line value. He moved the number. We moved the number. Micah moves the number.
But before, and we won't go too long on this video. What I wanted to, so you hit the game, you played the game, you released the game, Cincinnati. You released the game, and obviously there's different groups that are all having different reasons to release games, right?
Right.
You release Cincinnati at 8:44 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, um, which is 5:44 a.m. your time. And then if I go to my text message to Al McMordie, I screenshot you at 6:06 p.m. You released it at 5:44 at 5:44 a.m.
We
Micah's
released
group.
we released it at 8:44 a.m. Eastern.
Right. And then Micah's group hit it.
The line moves 6 minutes later.
Right. But then Micah's group hits it at 21 and 20 and a half at 6:06 East. I screenshot it to you. You respond right back, no, minus 25 at Bet Online.
Right.
So, like, what I want to know is from 20 and a half to 25, what was that?
Money.
So that's just Micah's group hitting it, and then everybody sees the screen light up and they just chase the steam, quote unquote.
I don't know what Micah's order was. Maybe did he have a limit on how high to go?
Yeah, 21, 20. He had 20. He had minus 20 and a half and minus 21. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So then people look at the screen, the Don Bet screen, which I have right here in front of me. They get the key move alert steam play right here. Everybody can see the little pop-up box. And then you have guys that chase the steam. Now, you and I discussed this in the past. I used to, 15 years ago, I would sit there and I would bet every steam play. And then at the end of a Saturday, I'd be literally 50 and 50 down juice going, what the fuck did I just do with my entire day?
Yeah.
So there's no edge chasing that steam. And if you fade it, you're probably going to go 50-50. It doesn't matter, right?
Right. That's why I always say, like, don't worry what don't worry what anyone else is doing. You have to only do what you yourself are doing. If you're trying to go with somebody, go against somebody, I mean, you can go with Micah, and you go with me, but you can't like do it after the fact.
Right.
Like when Micah hits the game and it goes to 21, you can say, oh, now I'll take it because, he had it at whatever he had it at.
Right. Got it.
You can't fade the public because the public, if you fade something that's 50%, you're also 50%. And the public hits 50%. So people will say, oh, I just want to go against the public.
I'm just laughing because I had a client of mine one year. There's a public website, not going to name it, that shows the fake public percentage. And it would go green, it would go red and blue, I think. And red was, like the least amount, and blue was the most amount. And he would bet on the red, the lead, because he's quote unquote fading the public. And of course, there was this artificial winning streak. And I said, well, it's going to come back to 50%. He goes, no, it's not. This is like guaranteed money. And at the end of the season, he was 50%. All these ways that you can drive yourself nuts. But we already talked about the free pick. I just wanted to talk, which is the Milwaukee Bucks plus the 3. I just wanted to get your take on this because obviously it's an ongoing conversation that we have with clients every day.
Yeah. Anyway, so my general take is, this is a rambling conversation, but basically closing line value is bullshit. Only care about ROI. I forget what else we talked about.
No. And then you said last season it's about those line moves affect about 2 to 3% of the moves, and we suck into the ones we remember, basically.
Well, yeah, but it's also the magnitude of the move is important as well. If you're just saying, the line moved from 17.5 to 18.5, yeah, it's hardly going to matter. But if the line goes from 17.5 to 25, it's a different ballgame.
Right. Exactly.
So, you have to use your judgment, and you have to, not every move is created equal. Like if the game moves, okay, Nicholls State moved 2 points. Yeah, I'd still play it. But if Nicholls State moved from 20.5 down to, 16.5, at that point, you might just say, okay, it's a bridge too far.
Got it. All right. Well, like I said, we'll keep it under 15 minutes. Hope you guys learned something about line moves. Milwaukee Bucks is your complimentary selection. Reach out for the all access. And as always, good day and good luck.